In this video, I'm going to run through how you can set up a LinkedIn ads campaign in under 10 minutes. We'll cover campaign structure, choosing your perfect audience, conversion tracking, different ad formats, bidding strategies, as well as a load of key insights that have taken us years and millions of pounds of testing to learn. There's also been a whole load of new features made available recently in LinkedIn ads, so we'll cover them throughout this process. So why should you listen to us? Well, we've worked with over 100 B2B clients across their LinkedIn ads activity, and we've helped them hit their targets, raise funding, and even get acquired by the likes of large companies such as Cognizant. And if that's not enough, check out the comments from LinkedIn ads on our LinkedIn ads about LinkedIn ads just last week alone. We appreciate you too, LinkedIn ads. Right, let's start the timer and get into this tutorial. First, what you do is go over to linkedin.com/ads. Then you can go on to manage your campaigns. And at the top, if you haven't got an account already, click on create and go on account. You can then choose obviously let's click with USD, even though it would be UK for us. And then you can attach your associated company account, which in this case, let's add one of our businesses, which is Session Media. Okay, so now we have the account created, which was pretty easy. And I'll go down the left-hand side at the end. So if we want to create our first campaign, what we can do at the top is go on, click create. There's 3 elements to a campaign and how it's structured. You have campaign groups, campaigns, and ads. So first of all, let's go and click on campaign group. What we want to do is call this, like I mentioned before, first touch, or that could be remarketing. Let's call it industry. Let's call it software dev that we're going after. And then let's say it's going to be a UK-based campaign. It's active. At the moment, this is one of the new things where you can actually create a group objective and just go after these. But again, we're going to set them at a campaign level. So it's going to be the way in which we run our playbooks is potentially slightly different to how LinkedIn guides you these days, which we found to be more effective, which is one of our learnings. So I click off here, can create a schedule at this level, but we'll just put run continuously and click create. So now we've got this new campaign group started. If we click on it, it'll take us then through to campaigns. So if we go create and click on campaign, this is where the actual bulk of the magic happens from a targeting perspective on LinkedIn ads. So if we click on next here, we can then give it a naming convention. So within software development, we may type in, we're looking to go after senior management for this campaign. We then may be like, we're going to do a single image. Let's do thought leadership ad. Thought leadership ad. It's going to have to be engagement. One of the ones to be thought leadership ads has to be engagement, but this will make more sense in a minute. Thought leadership ads are one of the new things that LinkedIn ads have rolled out, so it'd be really good to be able to get that up and running really quickly. But again, there's different ad types you can obviously use as well. So let's go down here. So we've got different objectives that we could go after. So we've got awareness, which I'll get onto in a second. We got website visits, which ultimately is going to be getting people to go through to your website. We've got engagements, which is the one that we've selected at the top, which is going to be ultimately charge you every time someone clicks and expands one of your ads or engages with your ads. You've got video views, which again would be good for videos and getting maximum awareness for those. And then you have messaging ads, which can be used for email ads or conversational ads. Conversion side of things, we have lead generation. This is primarily when you want to use the in-mail forms or the LinkedIn forms. So you click on that and then you actually, rather than going through to your website, it will open up a form within LinkedIn ads. These can be slightly expensive from a CPC perspective, but the cost per conversion can be slightly cheaper. But again, the actual throughput of those conversions aren't always as high quality, but won't go too much into that. Haven't got time today. And then you have things down here like talent leads, which is going to be the recruitment campaigns, as well as job applications. The other one here is website conversions. And a lot of people with no data start clicking on website conversions because they're like, obviously we want website conversions, but ultimately that isn't going to be something that you're able to get a cheaper CPC than website visits, we found, unless you have a lot of data. LinkedIn ads isn't as good as Google ads, for example, in being smart with the bidding strategy. So maximize conversions, target CPL. It's a lot better, I'd probably say, when you have data in Google ads and LinkedIn ads. So website visits, we've typically found a cheaper cost per conversion than actually website conversions. I typically say you have to wait till you have a good amount of conversion data for this to even become worthwhile using it, because it does charge you slightly more from a cost per click perspective. So in this sense, let's just go on, let's click on brand awareness as well. One more thing that's come on recently is if you do a brand awareness campaign, you can target people just on connected TV ads. So when you want to get your ads on the TV, not actually on the desktop, then you can use this function here and just toggle that on. It's only available in the US at the moment, but it should be rolling out more, but it has to be brand awareness. If I then click on website visits, you can see that disappears. And it just shows how the objective can impact the ad creative. So if we go on website visits and scroll down here, you can see most of the ad formats are available. If I click on video views, you can see down here, obviously only videos available. If you click on likes of lead generation, only 6 of the 12 placements are available. So play around with that and see if your asset type is available with the objective metrics. But I'd probably say if you're starting with a new campaign, I recommend going website visits or engagement or video views. So sticking to the consideration column until you build up that bank of data and conversions, which we're going to sort out in a minute. Right, actually only got 2 minutes left. I'm really rambling on here. But say, for example, we go on to engagement and we go on to create the campaign. So let's click off first, enable audience expansion. We don't want LinkedIn to go out and match and create more audiences based off similar interests. We want to make sure that's only targeting the ones we want to go off. And before we go anywhere else as well, let's get rid of LinkedIn Audience Network. The only time you want to keep this on is if you're doing connected TV ads, because that is actually on the network, but everything else is LinkedIn's partner sites and you have no visibility over that. So I'd actually scratch that. I'd actually just not worry about that in itself. So unclick that, and it's just going to be now hosted within the LinkedIn feed, which is great. Okay, let's go through the audiences quickly actually first. So I'm going to go way over the 10 minutes now, guys. So I appreciate that I was a bit ambitious to go through that, but I'll see what we can get in 10 minutes. And if you want to stick around to be able to, probably going to be over 10 minutes further than 10 minutes. It's probably about a 20-minute tutorial. But if you want to stick around, then feel free to, so we can go through it in a bit more depth. So we've got audiences here. And these are the owned audiences you have, so like list uploads, which I'll get onto a bit later on to show you how it works. Lookalike audiences, which honestly I never use. Predictive, again, that's similar to lookalike. They're actually sunsetting these soon. From retargeting perspective, these are people that have hit your website or done other actions like engage with your videos or your posts and stuff, which again, I'll get onto, but it's not just website retargeting. You can retarget, engages, which can actually bring it into a really good workflow and a really engaged workflow. And then third party, which again, I'm not going to get too much into in this video. The next thing you want to go on to, so if we go on here, we've obviously got location first. So let's narrow the audience, and then we go on to audience attributes. So we've got company, demographics, education, job experience. But for the sake of this, let's just type in company, and let's do company industry, and let's do software development, for example. And then we can choose the other industries. If you want to type in your industry here, you can go through there and see which ones are available. Obviously, everyone's going to, when they set up their LinkedIn profile, self-allocate what industry they think they're in. So there's going to be some mistakes probably. Okay, that's our 10 minutes up, guys. So if you want to stop watching now, feel free. But I'm going to plow on a little bit longer because I've taken a few tangents, but I think it's all important. So from a software perspective, you can obviously link that from a targeting perspective. You can obviously go through here and look at the other ones. You can actually go on LinkedIn Sales Navigator if you have the subscription and do the very similar build. So you could, job software development, and you can then see which companies they build up. So you can see a long list, which is great before you go and target them. But let's just say we're doing that, and let's narrow further and just say we want to target, marketing managers, which is a job title. And down here it suggests this. You can senior brand managers, creative brand managers, head of social media, head of marketing. So if we want to target marketing people at software development companies, we can add them in here. We see on the right hand side, we can see the audience size is 35,000. We can see everything from the function here. So we've got marketing. There's some overlap with people having job descriptions for like business development, which could also be, founders and people working in sales. And then obviously overlaps with other functions as well. We've got the seniority. So you can see here, there's a senior. We've got some an entry level and everything else. So what I recommend doing is going through these. You've obviously got company size here. Probably a good one for you guys to go out and look at is a big one in company size. So let's go narrow further. Audience, go company, and then you've got company size. And let's just do 11 to 50 to 200, whatever. So look at your firmographics here and go after them. And then if we go down, we can obviously see the updated one here. So 11 to 50, 250. And I'm not going to build out a full audience here, but you can go through these criteria and match them. But what we found a lot is LinkedIn will still kind of overserve. So if you definitely don't want to go after 2 to 10 employee companies or entry level, then you can go here and exclude company size and exclude 1-man bands, 2 to 10 man employees, and then it will actually take them physically out. So let's exclude this and this as well. So it's actually worth not only going through and adding companies as the ones you want to target, but it's also worth going through and negativing out the ones you definitely don't want to target as well, because you can see here it's refined, and you can go through and do the same for the likes of seniority. If I didn't want to target entry level, I'd go through and I'd create an audience exclusion, and I'd exclude out anyone that was entry level, for example. Or if I was going just up at entry level, I'd excuse out the senior. So you can see here, it's not just enough just to create the audience you want to go after. You also have to negative out the audience that you definitely don't want to go after, and remove that as well, and give LinkedIn even more data. So let's go down here, and what I want to click here is a single image from now, but obviously we can go through image carousels, videos, follower campaigns, documents, conversational ads, all great ones, and a lot of them I have on my channel. If you want to subscribe and follow along, I'm releasing videos around LinkedIn ads, B2B marketing always anyway, so feel free to follow along with that. We've already unticked LinkedIn audience placements, and down here you can set a daily budget. So what I normally do is set daily budget. Let's set it as like, I don't know, £50 a day. So about £1,500 per month, for example, and run campaign continuously. You can set an end and start date. LinkedIn doesn't have like a day parting tool natively where you can say I only want it to run between 9 and 5. We've built one of those tools. If you'd like the link to it, ping it in the comments below and I can send it over. Now, from a bidding strategy perspective, there is a few different ways. We've got maximize delivery, which is fine, and I've actually seen this work okay. A cost cap, which again, I don't use that often, but where I like to start campaigns is click on manual bidding. And what happens here is you can actually see from a cost per engagement, they put this suggested one here, but then they also say that there's a range down here. So what I typically do is look at that lower range and say, okay, I'm actually going to test $1, because LinkedIn actually do this thing where they say that it's more expensive than it usually is. And you can typically get really good exposure to the same audience by actually paying less. If you spend more, it doesn't actually get you a better audience a lot of the time. Nothing that I've noticed. Same like seniority, same job titles, all of that stuff. So bid less. If your ad then is not showing at all, then you know you're bidding too low and LinkedIn thinks you're taking the mix. So then bid slightly higher. But I'd say start slightly lower. Don't use the one they give to you initially. Start lower and go up. We've actually seen, we've gone from average CPC recommendations being £5, reduced it to like £2.50, £3, and it stayed exactly the same. So definitely test this out, especially if you're playing with small budgets. Let's create a new conversion. So first and foremost, let's go on save and exit, because we haven't actually installed the insight tag yet. So now we want to create the insight tag first. Let's go on to analyze insight tag, and then go and create insight tag and go agree and create. And then if you want to set up the tag yourself, you can do that, and you can go include that in it says footer here, but include it in the header of your website. I wouldn't recommend it this way, but say for example, you want to go over to your website and then go on to your header settings and then put it just before the head. So put it just before the head, so you can import it into here. Again, make sure you have cloud hosting backup if you are going to do it this way, because it could make some issues with your site and crash it, because I don't know what your setup is, but I wouldn't do it this way. Instead, what I'd do is go onto the Google, I would send tag to a developer, the use tag manager, take this number here, open up your tag manager settings. If you haven't got tag manager, definitely set up tag manager. I'm not going to go through how to set up tag manager, but go into tags, go onto new, go onto LinkedIn, and then click your tag in here, and then just go fire on all pages, submit, save, test that out and make sure it's actually triggering. Once you set that up, you can actually create conversions, but let's go back onto the advertising tab, go back into our campaign, click on edit and go previous. This will then take us back to this page here. again, actually, while I'm on this, it says 50,000 should be your smallest audience. Don't ever listen to that. You can create a much smaller audience as long as it's relevant to what you guys are looking to target from an audience perspective. So we've done all of this, we've minimized this, and now we can create a conversion. Now we have the insight tag set up. So if we create this insight tag, we just call it test conversion for a thank you page. And then we go on to whatever it would include. So is it a download? Is it a lead? Just click on lead for now. We have clicks. So from a 30-day perspective, someone clicks on your ad, it will be a conversion window, as well as a 7-day view through conversion. Won't get too much onto those. And then website actions are a great new one. What actually will happen here was when the insight tag comes up and running, if you have a thank you page, it will pull up your thank you page. So you can just click on that page there to make sure that every time someone hits that thank you page, it triggers a conversion. Again, the simplest way, this is actually a brand new action, as you can see from new. You can have the manual setup, or if you do it through Tag Manager, like we have at the moment, for example, we could just set anyone that comes onto the thanks page with a contains, then you should be able to do that. And then just click next step and it'll take you through and you'll be able to configure that thing. But if it's got like / thanks, like a lot of thank you pages do, you can also do it from a button click, which you can do on website actions as well. It has websites and button clicks once it's up and running. But again, I wouldn't worry, I wouldn't do a button click because there's no Ajax sort of like inform tracking stuff in here. So I wouldn't trust it too much. So just do a thank you page, make it easy for everyone. So next, the reason I did engagements and a single image is because one of the newest things that people have launched is thought leadership ads. So if I go on to browse content and go on company page here, because I associated it, we can see previous content that I've released from the company page. But what I really care about is LinkedIn members. So if I go on here, I can clap in my name, Ben, and I actually can go through the post that I posted recently. So one 23 hours ago, one 2 days ago, one 3 days ago. And I can actually see this content, that I've been writing, sort of like a SaaS client thing. And what I can do here is click on this ad and go on request approval. And I can send that to myself, or I can send it to someone else. LinkedIn's actually launched the ability now to type in anyone. So I could do like, Mark Zuckerberg. Let's see if this pulls up. Will Mark Zuckerberg have an account? Let's go on to Bill Gates. He must have one. This is a Microsoft product. Oh, sorry about that. Camera ran out of battery. Let's jump straight into it. Obviously overrunning by a lot more than 10 minutes. Probably what we want to do is look at this one here and think, okay, rather than just actually promoting from our company account, which again, historically is always what LinkedIn has let us do, what we can do is we can actually start promoting from personal accounts, whether it's from our account, whether it's from someone else who works for us to raise their profile and give more credibility, whether it's from a client mentioning us, whether it's user-generated content that we want to use. You can really get quite creative. And now LinkedIn's actually updated this. It really aligns with where the creator economy is going in B2B, and I'm sort of super excited, and we're super bullish about this, and it's something that I think is going to be used a lot more, and we're seeing it a lot more, and I think it's really nicely fits inside the way in which media buying should work, and ultimately pushing people down the buyer journey. So what we can do is obviously click one of these and click on request approval, and then once that's been sent out, we can click on view requests. So we can click on these ones, but let's go copy requested link, go up here and type it in, and then just click approve. If you can't be bothered, it will send the person an email as well. But if you click approve, then that one's been approved. And now technically it doesn't approve live. So what you have to do is go out of here, go on browse existing content, go on LinkedIn members, go on Ben Brown, and then click on it now. And then you can see here, this one's been approved. So now you can click on this and you can click add to campaign. And the great thing about this is if you're actually, someone in the organization is already writing comments or, LinkedIn posts, and they're getting them out, then they're getting good engagement. You can then just use those as ads, and then you can use that rather than just posting them on LinkedIn and just getting viewed by the followers and the people who have liked the comments audience. You can actually create your tight audience like we went into before, and then we can actually start amplifying them, just our target audience personas that we actually want to get in front of and start nurturing them. So once we're doing that, we can obviously, it says billing information needed. We go next. And what we can do down here is once we've done that, we can see that we've got a campaign group. We've got a first touch naming campaign, the scheduling of the campaign, the audience that we want to go after. So it's engagement audience. We've got job titles, company size, company industry. Again, you can go a lot more granular, and this is just a very broad example of people want to go after from a firmographic perspective. Everything around here, disabled audience network, disabled audience expansion, make sure they're off the bidding amount, And then obviously they're looking for information, so I can put my card details in here. And once I've done that, you can put agree and launch campaign, and then you are off to the races with your first campaign. Again, if you want to go through and do actual image ads or ones that aren't actually engagement based, I actually would say that, quick note on this, engagement isn't actually the best metric, I'd say. Outside of thought leadership ads, I'd probably start with website visits and put them towards your website, and then you can actually move on. Engagement ads, I'd only say, are good for ones that aren't thought leadership ads, for ads that you're working with that have around a 1% plus click-through rate. Otherwise, the CPC start getting too expensive. But yeah, website actions is probably the best one to go after. So let's get off this and now let's go and look at the left hand side. So the first thing I want to look at is planning and on audiences. So for example, we can go on matched and go and create an audience and go on to a matched audience. And what we want to do is, for example, anyone who engages with one of our single images, for example, we can say anyone who, thought leadership, engagement, anyone who interacts with one of your ads or clicks on one of our ads, but let's just say interactions with our ad in the last 90 to 365 days, we can click on this and it will tell you how many people have engaged with that audience. Now, audiences can run when they're 300 people or more. So as soon as that hits 300 people, you can then start targeting people that have clicked on certain ads, start nurturing them. Typically, what we like to do is actually create a first touch campaign and a high frequency retargeting campaign, and then a campaign which then engages and tries to re-engage people that have fallen out of our retargeting campaign. I'll link to actually our playbook and LinkedIn ad playbook and everything else along those lines at the end of this video, which we're nearly at now, but obviously we're over 10 minutes. Sorry about that. Do feel bad that went over time, but when you're on a roll, you're on a roll. You got to keep going. So you can create this in a very similar vein. You can create an audience which is from videos, so people who have watched a certain number of your videos in the last 90 days, people who have watched at least 50% of your video. These are great for people who have watched half your video. That they're engaged, and then you can send them a conversational ad. Again, not going to go into conversational ads, but really powerful, sort of like get the engagement from an inbound perspective and then automate that outbound from a conversational ad perspective. Start scaling up those conversations for your sales team or for yourself within LinkedIn ads and the messaging within LinkedIn ads. On the left hand side, you can go down here and sort of create split test optimizations. We typically just do that with rotating evenly within the Google Ads accounts. And then, that's actually reminded me. Last thing I want to go into, and one of the big things we learned over the years, and a lot of companies definitely don't know this because it's hidden away, is if you go back into if you go back into audiences, go on to this campaign, go on to edit and launch. Obviously go down here, go previous. What you want to do is click on this little gear icon here and click on rotate ads evenly. Typically what will happen is there'll be an optimized performance, which they recommend. It never optimizes the best one, it seems. It seems to go against actually optimizing it. So what you want to do is rotate ads evenly. So then you can actually see the best performing one and test them in there, which is better than the split testing function I've just shown you. Once you get campaigns running, there's so much data that you can see between like desktop and mobile breakdown, impression frequency, campaign frequency, and then just so many deep, rich metrics that you can actually start going and look at into the account. And then you can, when you get super advanced, start using the API to pull through even more data to allow you to optimize your campaigns even more. And it's something, again, we can link to in the comments if you want to see how to leverage this API data. I've got plenty of videos on these, so make sure you follow along. Up here is the video I mentioned around the Google Ads playbook, which again you probably find interesting if you stayed around this long for this video. Hope you found it useful. Anything you'd like to see around actually like post campaign going live, let me know. But until next time, anything you want to see around LinkedIn ads, let me know. But until next time, guys, have a great week.